Right, lovely people, thank you for taking some time out to check this video. So guys, are you looking to get into investments? Have you been considering something along the lines of maybe a high dividend investment? Quite specifically, what I'm going to be discussing in this video today is high dividend index funds. So high dividend, and in Pacific, the focus is on index funds. So if you have an interest in maybe taking out an investment but not sure which one to take out, maybe you're a beginner and you want something with higher dividend returns, I will explain that in the course of this video. Then this is the video you need to watch, guys. I'm going to be discussing 3 different index funds that have a good amount or a higher amount of dividend return. So guys, keep tuned from the beginning till the end of the video. I'm going to be discussing exactly that. Let's get started. Right guys, so let's get into this video, but before I do, let's get the formalities aside here, right? Because I need a more subscriber count, which will greatly help so I can pass more knowledge to you guys, show you my financial growth journey as well and aid yours. So guys, for those that have not already subscribed to my channel, it would greatly help me out if you can support me in my financial growth journey and obviously teaching some vital information to you guys. Hit the subscribe button below, the red subscribe button. You're not going to miss it. It's bright red, right? The other thing, if you like this video, it would greatly help me out if you could smash the like button. That would support the Google algorithm when people search for these type of videos. And on top of that, keep alerted when I post a new video. Hit the alert or the notification bell so you never miss out when I do post a video. So without further ado, one more thing, guys. If you do want to support the channel further, I do have some links below in the description. Check out the equipment I use if you want to support the channel further. Buy me a coffee, which is just a small amount in the shape or form of a coffee, and I'll use that back into the channel. Let's just get straight into the video now. Wasted enough time. So like I discussed earlier on, I'm going to be discussing high dividend index funds. This video is fantastic for beginners, essentially. So I have beginners in mind. I'm no financial expert, so this is not any kind of financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. So bear that in mind. This is information I've gained online, which I'm sharing with you guys, specifically, like I said, beginners. And the reason for that is most of the time, even when I started, I didn't know what type of investment I should really be looking at. The whole concept of doing investments was pretty overwhelming and confusing. Hence why I've chosen index funds here as the main focus. Now, for those guys that do not know what index fund is, essentially it is a collective pool of investments in different types of companies. So if I take an example being, say, the UK Footsie 100, it has the 100 largest companies based in the UK from different niches. They do different things, and your money is kind of split across all these companies. So if you did, like, say example, you were looking at investments, right? And you looked at a specific stock. And the reason why I'm not discussing stocks in this video specifically for beginners. So let's take an example. Say Marks and Spencer's in the UK. You wanted to invest, say, £100 with Marks and Spencer's. Your sole £100 investment is going to be with them. So if they collapse, that's that. You'll lose your money. And, you know, the risks are essentially, it's 100% in that specific pool. So one company, and, you know, that's incredibly risky. Not to say that index funds aren't risky. They're a little bit less risky because it's diversified among so many different types of companies. So if one company kind of does drop, you have the other companies to support the money you invested, essentially, well, for everyone that's invested. As if you put it into, say, Marks and Spencer's alone, an individual stock, if it collapses, if it doesn't do well, that's it. You know, there's no other company that can really support it because it's just solely with Marks and Spencer's. So that is why I've chosen index funds as the main kind of investment choice in this video. And why have I chosen high dividends? Now, high dividends essentially means that kind of the profit or growth the company makes in the previous years, they would split that amongst everyone that has, you know, invested. So you get a percentage of from the profit and gains. This isn't to say that, you know, this is kind of the all-go or perfect method to kind of be looking at, like high dividend investments. This is kind of one of the measures or something that should be taken into consideration when choosing an investment, because just because it's got high dividends doesn't mean, you know, the company can like make it mandatory to give that specific high dividend out. They can make a choice if they're not doing too well, or they just want to, you know, choose not to give dividends anymore. They could turn around and say, no, you know, we're not going to give any dividends. So, you know, I wouldn't solely look at this, but this is kind of one of the options I've chosen for this video, something that you can consider, you know. But some people, like I've seen they've put money with Aviva, a significant amount of money though, like over 10,000, and they got a yearly return of, it was more than 10,000, like £500, which is fantastic. But Aviva can turn around tomorrow, and this is an individual stock, which I'm not recommending, but Aviva can turn around tomorrow and say, no, we're not giving dividends. So don't solely rely on that. This is just something like a suggestion that you guys can essentially look at and maybe put money into these specific index funds that do optionally or do offer a certain percentage of dividend in return. Another point I need to make very clear: index funds do not make you rich. The people that have got substantially rich from investments is because they've got significant, I mean, a lot of money put into them, a lot. So the growth and return accordingly is going to be quite a lot. But obviously with simple sums like 10, 20,000, it's not going to be like, it's not going to make you rich. So I'm just letting you know that up front. So if you're looking for a get rich scheme, this is not going to be it. You will make some income, much better than putting in a basic savings account, that is, but not like enough to make you like retire early. Like I said, unless it's not a substantial or a crazy amount in your account. I'm going to be discussing 3 here, index funds with a good high dividend return or a good dividend return with you. And the ones I'm focusing on are all from the Freetrade app. The reason for that is I do not use, I don't use Vanguard directly. And the reason is I was looking for something on the go, a mobile app that is very user friendly and that I basically enjoy using. And that's Freetrade. And I'll put a link below if you want to join Freetrade. We both get shares each if you do join, which is great. But for me, it's kind of the best interface to use on the go. I do have money with Hargreaves, but they don't have a great mobile interface. So no. But the issue with Freetrade, there's a limited amount of index funds that have a good dividend return. But I have looked at 3 here, which I'm going to be discussing, which I feel that, you know, would have a good dividend return if you do choose to put your money into them. Like I said at the forefront, these dividends are never guaranteed. Okay, let's start with number 1 here, and I'm going to open my Freetrade app up on my phone so I can show you some information. So the option number 1 I've chosen here as a recommendation, and you're going to see it come up on the screen somewhere here, right? is Footsie All World Dividend, so global high dividends, and you're going to be seeing it on the screen. The current cost for this, in terms of if you want to go purchase it now, obviously it goes up and down within minutes. You never know, it could go higher, could go lower. The market opening is it's £47.66p. Currently it's quite high today. Opened at £46.22p. So if you have a look here, the dividend yield that you would get is 3.17%, which is actually quite good compared to some of the other ones I've seen for index funds. So here, if you want to know more information about this, all you have to do is click the key information document here, and that will give you more information in terms of the type of index fund you will be putting your money kind of into. Now, straight away, you can see here the risk and reward level is 5. So it is somewhat risky. Let's just say it is risky. It's not like it's a 2 or 3. So there is risks there. So that's something you need to bear in mind. In terms of this specific one here, you can read all the information here. So it says that the index is comprised of large and mid-sized company stocks, excluding real estate in developed and emerging markets that pay dividends that are generally higher than average. There are good real estate Vanguard funds I saw, but it's not available on this app with a good amount of dividend yield. One thing I have noticed, guys, with the Freetrade app, some of the dividend yields that were exposed or disclosed beforehand, they've removed it, and there may be many reasons that the companies might have decided, or the index, for that specific fund, they may have decided to remove it. But that's something you should be wary of. These things can change. So yeah, you can see all the information is here in terms of exactly what you are going into. And the great thing about this is that this fund basically kind of tracks the index of high dividend paying companies across the world. And the great thing is the cash will be the income will be distributed in cash. So you see it in your account and you can choose how to implement it. So this is a good option because, you're going to have a variety of choice. It's kind of separating or diversifying the income you're making across all these variety of companies, which do have a high dividend yields to them. So this is something that I would consider as my number one option, and definitely check it out on Freetrade if you're interested to put money with them. So let's look at number 2 now. So the number 2 one here is Ishares UK Dividend. So let's open it up here. IShares UK. It's really easy to find here. This is actually kind of the good thing that this app is not complicated for someone that's new to these kind of apps. So here you go. UK dividend, obviously related to the UK market. If you look here, the market started at £7.55 when it opened. The highest has been £7.85 today. It's at £7.81 currently. You can look at this map here just to kind of see how things have been gone since it's open. There's a lot of ups and downs, but you have to bear in mind this kind of graph here is not indicative of future performance. So you can't solely rely on this, say, okay, it's not been doing too well. I don't see it getting better. It's like kind of a guideline. It's not something that applies in the future. You don't know how everything will go in the future. So there's something to bear in mind. The dividend yield for this is actually quite good, guys. It's 5.48%. Now, I know there's lots of articles out there that say that a good dividend yield is 2 to 4%, and anything higher is very good. However, the chances are it could be very risky. It's a very risky choice. Again, that's something, could be a factor here. 5.48% is quite high. So you need to be wary when going into this. And if you do go into it, keep a watchful eye. So this one here tracks the performance of the index composed of, in the UK, companies to higher yielding subset of the Footsie 350 index. So that's quite good. So it's basically comprising of some part of the Footsie 350. I'm not too familiar with that one. I'm familiar with the Footsie 100, which is the largest companies, the Footsie 250, the mid-size. I'm presuming the Footsie 350 would be the smaller ones. I may be a little bit wrong. But again, this one, you need to open up the key information document and read it. And you can see straight away the risk level is highlighted in red. It's number 6. So this is something that if you do go into, you need to go into with all your kind of research done. Any kind of investment you choose, do your research. It is vital, because if there's any issues afterwards, the chance that you could lose all your money. So be wary of that. Now, the last one I'm going to be discussing, option number 3. This one has less of, in terms of dividend yield, is a little bit lower than the rest, but it's definitely a fantastic option. So I'm going to be discussing the S&P 500, the largest 500 companies in America. So the reason why this one is a fantastic option is it's one of the largest funds on the market. It has 100 billion invested into it. There's a lot of money sitting in this specific fund. The expense ratio for this specific fund is also quite low, which is really good. And over the years, if you have a look at it, it's had really good returns and the growth has been steady overall. Also, there's a fantastic amount of diversification. If you have a look, there's lots of different companies in here from different backgrounds, a huge amount of diversification in this fund. That's why I highly recommend this. It started at £58 on market today. It's at £59.61. It's much lower than what it was when I purchased it, at £65. The dividend yield is actually off this, but when I checked this yesterday, actually, let me just quickly check in my one. Where is it gone? Dividend yield, S&P 500. Yeah, 1.17%. Yes, it is low, but the growth is steady there. And something I do need to mention, when people say, oh, I've had a 15% return, and you're looking at the dividend yield and it only says, say, 5%. The chances are the other 10% is from the growth of the value of the investment as it's going up. So it might have gone up 10% in total, and then you take account of the dividend yield as well. And that, if you add it together, it's 15% total return. So, you need to take those. So that's when people say total return, that's essentially what they mean. And I understand it can be very confusing, especially if you're not familiar with investments. That's why you need to really do your research into this, because it is quite a little bit complicated for the new person. Also, what you will notice is with all the ones I've showed you, they are all ETFs. Now, what ETF here is, it allows investors to buy many stocks and bonds in different types of or certain market segments at once. They are traded on the exchange like stocks. So that's something to bear in mind, that term there. ETF, you might see that quite a bit with all of these, and that's essentially what it means. Right, guys, this video has gone a bit too lengthy than I anticipated. I just wanted to discuss those 3 stocks with you that I would, 3 index funds with high dividend to good dividend yields with you, so you have some options out there to consider. Generally, rule of thumb, guys, if you are interested in the high dividend aspect, put that aside. Look at index funds. If you're a beginner, look at index funds. And as a rule of thumb, the recommendation I would give if you're new is the Footsie 500. Sorry, not the Footsie. I'm getting everything mixed up. The S&P 500. So I would recommend that as your starting option in terms of index fund, because like I said, the growth has been steady. It's got a well diversified portfolio, and yeah, it's been doing well over the previous and upcoming years, and hopefully the future looks good for it. So yeah, I hope this information was useful. My main purpose of this channel is to provide you information alongside which I'm teaching myself, and it's aiding my financial growth journey, and I'm pushing towards helping you guys. If you could support me, that's fantastic. Subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. Also guys, check out my website. I'm going to be doing lots of blogs in the upcoming weeks. It's there's 2 links to it. The first is sassywoman.net. The other one is swfinance.com. I've just connected 2 domains to that specific website. Check it out. Sign up with the mailing list. Leave comments on the blogs. That will help me out. Right guys, I'm going to enjoy my weekend, my end. I hope you do the same. I'll see you in the next video next week. Have a lovely weekend. See ya.